Cats have such interesting personalities, don't they? In this short video, I'll show you how I paint this curious cat on paper with acrylics. To begin, I'm transferring the outline of Molly the cat that I traced from a video still. Stay tuned until the end to see that video. For this portrait, I'm using a thick artboard from Canson, which is designed for plein air painting. This makes it ideal for use with heavy body acrylics because it won't buckle under the weight, even without gesso. Before painting, I like to sketch out the subject using a pencil. This helps me sort out tonal value ahead of time. Here on my palette are 4 colors that are a variation of the Zorn palette: Yellow Ochre, Cadmium Red Medium, Payne's Gray, and Titanium White. Because this paper is thick enough and has a toothy surface, I'll skip priming it with gesso and proceed to the next step of adding a warm wash. You can certainly paint directly on the surface, there are no rules against it, but adding a watered down mixture of yellow and red provides a nice warm base. Payne's Gray looks very close to ivory black until you add white. So if you use it straight out of the tube, you'll get the coolest black from this limited palette. If you mix Payne's Gray with a hint of Cadmium Red Medium, you'll get a warmer black. Whenever I paint a portrait, it's always an experiment in color. Sometimes it'll be layers upon layers of color until I'm satisfied with a piece. What's interesting about acrylic paint is its chameleon-like ability to resemble watercolor, gouache, and even oil paint. You can either dilute the paint with water or modify it with acrylic gels, mediums, or paste. The secret to painting white is to not use white exclusively. For this tuxedo cat, I'm going to mix white with a hint of Payne's Gray and Cadmium Red Medium. This gives me a subtle purple. When it's time to highlight the white fur, I'll mix white with a hint of yellow ochre. That'll give me a warm white. Using the red and white from my limited palette, I'm loosely brushing on the dark, medium, and light values to sculpt these flowers. The lightest values are the curl petals catching the light. If you find it difficult to paint certain subjects, like I find it difficult to paint flowers, take some time to observe the shapes and tonal value. Flowers are not something I paint regularly, so I often have to be patient and ready to learn again and again. To compensate for the blurriness of the video still reference, I'm using another clear photo to accurately paint Molly's features. Acrylics, especially heavy body acrylics, are usually applied thickly, but I often water them down and paint in light layers. This gives the effect of a glaze. You can also use an acrylic medium to get that same effect. That will actually better preserve the integrity of the paint. For the tiniest fur, I'm using a very fine brush to glaze these details. If I make any mistakes, it's easy to just glaze a darker color over it and start again. No sweat. Here's the original video of Molly that inspired this painting. Even though the video was a bit blurry for detail, it captured her personality so perfectly, and that's exactly what I wanted to paint. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.